Man, can't wait for MWC.
Is The Rock going to be there?
It's not wrestling.
I mean, he always wrestles somebody at the big pay-per-views, right?
MWC stands for Mobile World Conference, not Mobile
that
Championship.
Never mind.
That was my cameraman. Obviously, he's more wrestling fan than editing fan or video fan. I don't know. Anyway, hello. Welcome to Android Weekly. I'm RSCKY, the Android guy. So LG sends out their invitation for MWC, and no, LG is not for Luchador Grande or anything like that. Again, this is Mobile World Conference. So LG, in their invitation, has had a big 4 on it, making us, and it says, see the difference. So we're kind of wondering, is this the Nexus 4? Is it coming out in white like we've seen leaked pictures of? And will it actually be available maybe? I mean, that's the thing that everyone wants to know. Can LG mass produce a phone? They haven't been too successful, so yeah. I honestly will be very surprised if Google keeps them as the Nexus maker for their next Nexus phone, because that was one thing that I just was very disappointed with. The 4, if it is the Nexus 4, would be very disappointing for that. Anyway, on more news from LG, though, they did release just today talking about the Optimus G Pro design. It will be a 5.5-inch screen, so the same size as the Note 2. And, oh my god, does it still look like the Note 2? I hope you guys saw it last week, and now they showed another picture of it. It looks so much like the Note 2. It's just like, LG, really? Like it looks so much like the Note 2. They even look like they try to copy the sensors on the front. That Samsung does 2 sensors on the front. They made one sensor just bigger. Yeah. It will be a 1080p inch screen, a quad-core processor, most likely S4 Pro. But yeah, and it will be, we'll see it at MWC as well. But, I mean, it's curved glass, so it's cool. It's like more like the S3 in that aspect than the Note 2. The S3 had curved glass, just like the Nexus, Galaxy Nexus had curved glass. So I like a curved glass phone. Just it feels better when you hold it, and it just feels better in the pockets too. I just like it a lot more, and I'm really, I really kind of like the lack of innovation from LG was just very disappointing on this, though, just because of the fact that it looks like a Note 2, like they didn't do their own design at all. Now you can argue, well, Samsung took like design ideas from Apple, but at least they made it different. This looks identical to it. It's a rectangular button. It has the front. Everything looks the same. Hopefully you guys can see the image here. It looks the same. It looks like a Note 2. The other news that we're waiting for MWC and what I'm very excited for is the Galaxy Note 8-inch. Supposedly in Europe, we will see from Underwire View, they had said that we're going to see 3 versions. The Wi-Fi only model, Wi-Fi in 3G, and Wi-Fi in LTE. So, since that's going to be in Europe, I can assume that hopefully we'll get a Wi-Fi only and a Wi-Fi LTE in the US. Really hoping for that. I'm definitely looking forward to this. I will pre-order this if I have to. I want to be one of the first people to get the Note 8-inch. I'm very excited for this device. And we also have seen the first images leaked from the Galaxy S4, supposedly, which is kind of cool. It's really cool that this has already come out. Supposedly, we're getting these leaked images, and it was a couple. You could tell like a couple were being moved while it was taken, but the one that was definitely in frame when it was taken was very sharp and very clear. I'll put the image of the photo rather to show you, but it looks very, very clear, really good detail. It was like done with construction paper, and you can actually tell that it's like construction paper. It looks really nice. I mean, if that's the camera quality, I'm ready for it. I'm definitely happy with it. And because of this really good quality, Samsung led the way for the fourth quarter. So in Q4, 30%, well, 29% of the phones that were sold globally were Samsung, which is just really impressive. In the fourth quarter, so the last 3 months, they sold the most phones out. They beat Apple by 70. Yes. This article says, although I'm not sure how they got the math, but this article in front of me, it said they beat them by 74 million units, which, I mean, just trumps everyone. I mean, you can basically add Apple, HTC, and LG up together, and it still doesn't match what Samsung sold. That's really impressive. That they can take on, because a lot of people think in the US that LG and HTC are second and third, but actually after Apple goes Huawei, ZTE, and Lenovo in terms of the top selling phone companies, or manufacturers rather, in the world. So it's really interesting to see just how far Samsung has come in really just a year. I mean, you can argue it's been more 2 years, but in really a full year, they've really just kind of taken over in a lot of aspects. And in other news, we have seen this company called Freedom Pop, and they've made a pretty cool design. What they have made is a type of device that clamps on to your tablet and that provides 4G. So I really like this concept. It basically it makes it so you don't have to hold two devices. Now, there's no word on how this will work with a case, so that's my only concern, because, you know, if you have a case on it, will it still be able to latch on, or will it not be able to then? So that's a really cool concept. It's supposed to be about $100, but it's still at FCC testing, so we don't know if it's going to be with any carrier, if they're going to try to do their own thing, or what it'll be like. Supposedly it's going to have 6 hours of battery life, which is average for a hotspot. So we'll see, but it's a company called Freedom Pop with the LTE clip. And as we were talking about LG possibly still being the next Nexus device, Asus is supposedly still coming out with a new Nexus 7 at the Google I/O coming in May. And that one is supposedly going to have a Qualcomm processor instead of NVIDIA. Now, NVIDIA made a lot of money from the Asus, the Nexus 7 Asus tablet, so for them not to have this deal does not look good for NVIDIA. I mean, NVIDIA had a very impressive booth at CES, but was it not enough? Were people really upset, especially for the whole web browsing issues that the Tegra 3 had? The Tegra 4 is not supposed to have that, but maybe that is why they're considering Qualcomm over NVIDIA as a tablet that they really want to take over the market. I'd be interested in this because if NVIDIA doesn't get Asus, then that's really bad, because then the only ones that will really take them would be like Toshiba maybe and Acer. I mean, if you think Samsung hasn't had an NVIDIA processor since their first 10-inch tablet. You know, Sony can go either way. Basically, they can go to another tablet, Qualcomm or something like that. So it's really kind of curious to see what NVIDIA will do if they lose Asus as a client. And by December, analysts expect Android will be at 800 million phones activated. Just to give you an idea, at the end of this year, they expect there to be 300 million iPhones. That's pretty big comparison difference compared from Android to Apple. So just to give you an idea of why, when Apple, an article later, actually I'll just say it now, Tim Cook was saying, "Oh, Apple has so much room to grow. You know, not even, it may shock you to know that, you know, not even half the people in the world have iPhones." Duh. Not only do not half a million people, but not even 30%. It's nowhere near the growth rate of Android. Android's the strongest platform out there. And in terms of iPhones, yes, they have been big, but their sales compared to what they were have dropped tremendously. So, speaking of that, I want to address something definitely right away. Analysts are also predicting, now obviously analysts are analysts, some of them have merit, some of them don't, but they're also predicting that there will be a low-priced iPhone mini or iPhone Air coming out this year. I'm going to do a separate, my opinion on this, but basically, Apple cannot make a low-priced phone. If they do, the company will be finished. Plain and simple. I don't know why analysts and all these rumors are still thinking there'll be a low-priced iPhone. If there is, Apple will go under. That's just it. You can't have a high-end company make a cheap product. It loses their prestige. The moment Apple loses their prestige, they'll be done. I'll explain it more on why that is in a separate review, but it's foolish that people still think that Apple's going to make an inexpensive iPhone. Or if they're actually thinking about doing it, they're just suicidal and Tim Cook wants to drive the company into the ground. One will happen. We'll see which one. Speaking of changes that can be good and can be bad, Samsung is supposedly 86ing their QWERTY keyboard dock for their tablets, at least for their current tablets. So for the Note 10.1, the Tab 10.1, and the Tab 2 7.0, it's supposedly these are going away for the desktop dock, and then they're going to come out with a Bluetooth keyboard instead. Is this a better solution? I mean, I wouldn't even use the desktop dock. I would use like a case and then use like a Bluetooth keyboard. But my main thing, as you guys have known in a couple of my videos, brings back the keyboard case. The keyboard case for the Galaxy Tab 10.1 original was amazing. It looked great. You had it for the 10.1 and the 8.9. Bring it back for the Note 10.1 or the Note 8-inch, please. That was the best thing ever. We just want it back. We just want it back. It was an amazing key. It was the best Bluetooth keyboard case ever. And that includes the Zag backlight one, which is the second place, but that one's the best one. Alright, so we've seen this before. Now we're seeing images, so maybe it's true finally. But we have an official, not a third-party one like I've shown at CES, but an official wireless charging pad from Samsung surfaced at FCC. This time we have pictures, so maybe it's just a myth. But this is supposed to be for the Galaxy S3 and for the Note 2. We know that these devices have the ability for it, and it looks really cool. I mean, I would definitely use it. I'll buy it as soon as it comes out. And I'm really excited for it. But will it come out and will it happen? That remains to be seen. I'm not going to get my hopes up. That's all I'm saying. I'm not going to get my hopes up. You know, I've been hurt too many times. It's kind of hit home, but it looks really cool. I'll get it if it comes out. And just wait. Just wait. A widget for Google Now. Is this in the future? Well, on their support page, we saw a Google Now widget. And which I think would be really cool, because Google Now basically answers questions before you even ask them. Now you don't even have to push the menu button. You could actually have it on your home screen, which I think is really cool. So you can basically get your live tiles, and you can even get Google Now on your lock screen because of Android 4.2. So I am guessing this will be on Keyline Pi, Android 5.0. Which I would welcome this addition, definitely. I love Google Now. I'm still waiting for it to be on Chrome, which we've heard rumors that it was going to be on Chrome for a while. I'm waiting for it to be. I think, now.google.com would be perfect. I've searched it, by the way. It's not out yet. I'm keeping an eye on you, Google. But yeah, it looks really great. I would love it. And I think it would be a great addition for Keyline Pi. All right, which article is bigger? You know what? I think the Samsung one is the biggest one. So the second to last article, BlueStacks App Player releases for Surface Pro, and as you know, that BlueStacks is an app that basically brings Android apps to Windows. So because it's now on the Surface Pro, you can potentially have all of the Android apps be available for Surface. which is of course amazing, seeing as how the main downside to Surface is the lack of apps. That's the main downside why I would never recommend a Surface tablet to a person that was an app enthusiast because they don't have any. So that is really huge. If they can bring it, if they can do it, if they can make it full screen, if you can make it so that it does work properly, that would make the Surface easily viable. Now this is the Surface Pro, not the Surface RT, so it is a more expensive model, and it can really make a lot of usefulness to really have apps on Windows 8, which just aren't available right now. And definitely my top news of the day, what I was most interested in, is Samsung Project J. Yes, this is definitely the best article for last, and according to Sam Mobile's website, we possibly have Project J bringing us the S4 with wireless charging, the S4 Mini, and a smartwatch. Now, these are all code names and everything like that. So for the first one, we're seeing that there will be a flip cover, a clear cover, which, what is that? What is a clear cover? That's kind of interesting to me. I'm kind of curious to see what a clear cover is. Protective cover, a pouch, extra battery kit, a battery with 2600 milliamps. So will that be the standard now? The S3 is a 2100 milliamp, and the Note 2 is a 3100 milliamp. So 26 is right there, a little towards the middle. So I think that's a good way. And wireless charging, of course, which we like, and then just the HE adapter and headset. The Project J Mini it has a clear case, flip cover, and protective cover. And then the Project J Active supposedly has an armband, a bike mount, and a pouch. So is this some kind of smartwatch? That is the real curiosity. I would love a Samsung smartwatch. I am probably going to get the Pebble. I've used the Sony smartwatch in the past, and I'm definitely really considering getting. I would instantly buy a Samsung smartwatch. To be honest, I just definitely would. I would really love to see what they would do with a smartwatch, and I think the smartwatch business is a smart business for all manufacturers to get into. Get into bidding wars so we can drop those prices and really see how it goes. Alright guys, well that was the weekly news for Android and just all electronics in general. What are you guys most excited about at NWC? I think we have one more Android Weekly before then. What are you guys really excited about? Which ones are you want to hear some of the rumors start getting truer about? Let me know. This has been RSCKY, the Android Guy.